And I'm sitting out by the well, y'all can spot it, and we're going to think about how it might have been to have been Mary as an aged mother. It's a hard time. It's Passover. Passover for me was always a glorious time, a time that I look forward to and I enjoyed with God, but after my son died, it's not been the same. I've never been back to Jerusalem for Passover since then. I just can't go back. And I sit here at this time and I think about how all of this came to be in my life. Sometimes your life doesn't go like you planned, and did you realize that? I did know when I was a little girl that I wanted to serve God. My parents loved God and they taught me about it, and that was unusual because usually girls were not taught because they figured you weren't worth anything. Actually, women had little value. You were there to cook the meals, have the children, and stay out of the way. But my father said, "Who's going to teach the boys?" The girls. He said, "Our daughter needs to know the gospel. She needs to know the scriptures." And so I was taught those. And I can remember when I was little, one time I got so excited about the scriptures that I said to my father, "I know what I'm going to do when I grow up." And he looked a little worried. He said, "What?" I said, "Something great for God." And he said, "Learn to cook." I said, "Nah, I wanted to be like Esther." He said he didn't think I had a chance for that. I said, "Well, I could do Deborah." He said he didn't think I'd make that either. I said, "What could I do?" And he said, "Learn to cook." But you know, I thought about God all the time. God and I talked. I mean, it's not like he talks out loud to you, you know, but he just, sometimes you can almost feel him with you, can't you? And it was just really special. Sometimes my mother got really upset. She said sometimes I was so heavenly minded I was no earthly good. But I just waited for God to do something special, and you grow up and nothing happens. I just kept looking for God to come up with something. I knew in my heart it was there. But what I had planned was not what he had planned. I was only a teenager, a young teenager, and my mother was supposedly teaching me to cook because Father was hoping one day to be able to get rid of me. And you know, you have to pay attention when you cook. Otherwise you burn it. And did you know my mother didn't do well with that? And I had burned one thing too many, and she sent me as a punishment to the garden. I like the garden. It's quiet. And you know, you can get down on your knees and you can talk to God, and you don't even have to pay attention. You can pick things or you can weed. And I was picking things for Mother, and I just said, "God, you know, I've always felt like I was supposed to do something great for you, but is cooking it? You know, if it is, I need help. I need some help with it, but if you would help me, if that's what you've got for me, I'll really do a good job." Well, God had planned for me to be married, I guess, because Father had found someone, Joseph, who was a carpenter, and I was happy with that because Joseph was the only boy in town that had never pulled my hair or done anything. He acted nice, and I was asking if I was going to cook for him the rest of my life, if that was it. And you know, God never really talks back to you. It's just kind of in your head. But that day, when I was in the garden, a voice said, "Mary, blessed are you among women." And I thought, who is here? And I looked over at the edge of the garden, and there was this man. I mean, he was big and tall and shiny, and I don't know what an angel looked like, but if he looked like that, I was scared to death. I was glad I was on my knees. I fell down on my face, and I laid there, and he said, "Blessed are you among women. God has chosen you to be the mother of the Messiah." Oh, this isn't going to work. I mean, can you imagine having that announced to you all by yourself out there? I said, "Well, you know, we have a problem because I'm engaged to Joseph, but that's all there is to it. There are no babies on the way. It's okay." And the angel said, "No." He said, "You're going to carry God's son. It's going to be miraculous and special." And he was telling me all of this, and I said, "You know, I've wanted to do something for God, but I could do something littler." And he said, "No, this is it." Do you know how hard it is to comprehend something like that? I tried to absorb it while he was talking to me, and he kept telling me other things, and I was trying to listen, and my mind was going, you know, sometimes we women can double track, and I was thinking, if I'm going to be the mother of the Messiah, do you know what that makes my mother? Grandmother of the Messiah. Who's going to tell her? Have you met her? I decided I'd take him because he was bigger than her. But when I decided that, he was gone. How do you comprehend that? Can you think about that? I was trying to comprehend that, and I thought, how do you go home and tell your mother that? So I decided I wouldn't. I'd let her figure it out on her own. You know, I went home, and I was kind of in a daze, but Mother thought that was normal. And when I walked in, she said, "Where are the things I sent you to the garden to get?" I said, "In the garden?" Now, my mother could wag that finger under your nose and be so close you'd feel the breeze and never hit you. And she started in one of those, and she said, "Mary, I am really worried about you. You're going to be having a baby, and you're going to lay it down and forget where you put it." And I said, "Who told you I'm going to have a baby?" "Not the way to announce it to your mother." She stopped mid-wag, and she said, "What do you mean you're going to have a baby?" I said, "Mother, it was the strangest thing I've ever seen. I mean, this really big man, I think he was an angel. He came and he told me that God has chosen me to be the mother of the Messiah." I don't know if you know anything about Jewish women. If some of you are Jewish, you really are always excellent at screaming. My mother could scream louder than all the ladies in the neighborhood. And she started screaming and wailing, "How could you do this to us? How could you embarrass this way?" And I'm going, "I didn't do anything. I just told you what happened." I said, "Mother, it was an angel, and he told me that." She said, "Mary, girls have been saying that for years." But it was true. It was true. I waited for my father to come home, and my father and I were close, and I was really worried about that when he came in. And my father looked at me, and the hurt in his eyes was so bad, and he said, "Mary, how could you do this?" And I said, "Father, I didn't do anything." And I was trying to think and remember what the angel had said. And I said, "Father, I have proof." Now, men are really big on proof. My father said, "What?" I said, "The angel told me that cousin Zachariah, who's in Jerusalem and he serves in the temple, that he and his wife Elizabeth are going to have a baby. And that their baby is going to tell the world about this one that he's sending through me, the Messiah. And my father and my mother looked at me. They said, do you have any idea how old that woman is? They said, well, she's just way too old to have a baby. I said, but the angel said. Maybe I should go check and just see. And my father said he thought that was a really good idea. I think he was trying to think, maybe get me out of town. I don't know. And I don't know what he told Joseph. He had to get permission from Joseph for me to go. I think he told him we had a sick relative, and I think he figured it was either Elizabeth or me.